Hey, what's up, guys? This is HT19 coming in here with what I'm gonna call the first official video of the channel. We did have another video previous to this, which was an Edison pack opening. If you haven't checked that out, go to the videos, check that out really quick, which is more like an intro video. But this here is gonna be a deck profile. More in lines of what to expect more from the channel for the most part. I do want to do a lot of deck profiles as well as like discussions over the Edison format. And who knows, maybe some miscellaneous stuff here and there. But yeah, what I'm actually going to do here today is actually something a bit different than what people might be used to as far as deck profiles goes. What I really want to try to do with my deck profiles is break down the skeleton. What are the mandatory cards that we need to play, and then maybe some options, flex spots, because you know everyone plays a bit different. Give you some options as to what cards you might want to play in your deck. I'm also gonna tell you what I personally play here today. For those of you who don't know, I actually did win a Deck Devastators tournament back in September with this deck, Blackwings. It has changed quite a bit since I played it. In my opinion, that version definitely wasn't optimal, but it was good enough to win. And back then, the reason why I built it the way I did was I felt like the skill ceiling wasn't as high, especially for that tournament in particular. Or I'm not saying necessarily the skill ceiling, but definitely more like the deck powers overall. I feel like the decks nowadays have gotten a bit more powerful, which leads me to update to this current version that I play right now, which if you guys go back and look at that old profile, I did not play this card. But with the evolution of the meta, with especially decks like fairies and frogs being a lot more powerful now, I feel like this card is a must-have. Personally, as a 3-of, and I definitely made my deck to try to utilize this card games 2 and 3. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started with the deck profile. One more thing, I'm not going to cover the side really. Again, that I feel like that's player preference as well. Like I said, the main thing that I did want to let you know is I do want to try to play 3 deck devastation virus. But yeah, we'll go through this for the most part. Like I said, this is the skeleton. So what you basically need mandatory in the deck. And yeah, for the most part, this will not need too much explanation. So let's get started. So Greffer build, actually, so we're playing triple Greffer, maximizing on the Greffer, try to get basically give you the best of chances to try to make a deck Devi live, especially games 2 and 3. So 3 Greffer, 3 Vayu, 3 Sirocco, 3 Shura. Right now, I feel like only 2 Boro is mandatory. And then, as you'll see later, I do give the option to play the 3rd as well. But mandatory, 2 Bora, 3 Kalut, 3 Blizzies, 1 Gale, and Dad is the last mandatory monster that we play. Next for spells, mandatory, 2 Whirlwind, 1 Allure, 1 Brain Con, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 MST, and at least 2 copies of Book of Moon. This card just keeps on getting better and better as the format progresses, and I definitely won't fault you for playing 3 of this card as well. Next for mandatory traps, there aren't really too many, but I do feel like we have to max out on Icarus attack. Kind of same reason why Book of Moon is pretty good. This is just really good interruption, very and just very powerful. And also, it's like, this is one of the main reasons why I feel like this is the best deck. You could play into bottomlesses or deep prisons. and use this card to basically get a like a 3-4-2. So a nice little +1. Now, last card that I feel is absolutely 100% mandatory is Solemn Judgment. This is a very aggro deck. You want to make sure your pushes go through. So all in total, right here we got 34 cards, which means we got 6 flex spots over here. What I personally choose to play over here is Econ in place of the third Book of Moon right now. I like Econ because it helps you make some game pushes. It also is good in combination with Blizzard plays. And for more traps, we actually don't play too many traps, but I am choosing to play double Royal Oppression because this is kind of act as multiple traps for you. So Royal Oppression, Trap Dust Shoot, 1 Book of Moon, and 1 Dark Bribe. Kind of similar reasons as Solemn Judgment, because we want to make sure we are our pushes are safe, so you could be very aggressive, but it also protects all your back row. So you could protect your Royal Oppression with this, and I've been really liking this card. Like I said, sometimes you only have a Royal Oppression, or you really could only afford to do 1 big push, and there might be a situation where you have to, if not you're going to lose. So making sure that goes through is very important. So yeah, right here that makes it 40. But let's say we get rid of these cards. So what other options do we have to play? Like I mentioned earlier, I won't fault you for playing third Bora. Also, next for monsters, I think Gores is also optional, depending on how many copies of Royal Oppression you play. If you play like 1 or 0, I definitely could see Gores being in the main deck. Like I said, third Book of Moon. Other cards we could play is things like Dark Eruption, Burial. So these 2 cards kind of serve similar purposes, where it's getting into later stages of the game and they just give you an extra boost of life there. There's also like more like back row stuff that you could play, or back row removal with Nobleman and Dust Tornado. People might try to play around Icarus, so these are pretty good options. Next, Bottomless. So the reason why I have Bottomless is because I was only playing 1, but I won't fault you for playing 2, for example. Next, same thing with like Deep Prison, as well as Mirror Force Torrential. Again, all pretty good removal. And last but not least, Starlight Road, kind of similar light as Judgment and the Dark Bribe, as we discussed earlier. So yeah, these are all very good options, along with the ones that, of course, I play. I would actually probably put these closer, like somewhere in the middle, or between mandatory and optional. But yeah, I mean, that's the main deck. And the other thing I'm going to cover is the extra deck, which for this deck I feel is pretty solved, but we'll still go over that really quick. So this actually hasn't changed for me in a very long time. That's why I said it's pretty solved, and I've noticed multiple top Blackwing decks with this exact same extra deck of double Armed Wing, double Armor Master, 1 Silverwind, 1 Magical Android, 1 Allied Justice Cataster, 1 Goyo Guardian, 1 Brionic, 1 Black Rose, 1 Stardust, 1 Darkened, 1 Colossal Fighter, Mistworm, which is basically our only flex spot, and the last 15th card is Chimera Tech. This is a flex spot mainly for a Thought Ruler. I don't fault you for playing either one or the other. So aside from that, I feel like everything else is pretty standard mandatory, and I do not feel like you need anything else. But yeah, that's the profile for today. Let me know which one of these cards you would personally play, or if there's any that I'm missing, please put them down below. I'd like to get more thoughts on this and maybe get a discussion going. And yeah, subscribe for more profiles like this. Next one coming up will probably be my personal favorite deck from the format, being Vayu Turbo.